Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me. We're going to take a look at some more books. This is going to be another video where we look at this collection of books that I have, which is pretty large, but this stack right here in particular we've been working on. So I think this is about the fourth video that we've done here. And at the beginning, we had books stacked all the way up here up, and then now here we've stopped here. Now all the books that we have already looked at in the previous videos, I'll show you where I found a spot for them. This is the Vampirella poster. Excuse me. There we go. And in here, it's getting dark in here. But anyway, over on this bookshelf is where we've been putting the books. Okay. We've got plenty more room to put more books behind all these toys. All right, come with me. Let's go and look at the books. That's what you're here for. That's what I'm here for. This is a book collection video where I look at the books that are in the stack. Let's set it right about here. Let's start by moving some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, here's a original art piece. It's a postcard produced by the YouTube artist John Gores. So we're going to move that. Put it over here by this orangutan. And here's the Swamp Thing. This is the Swamp Thing. It's a nice DC multiverse Swamp Thing. Let's move it out of the way. Oh shit, you fell down, no big deal. Let's, so we're over here. This is another John Gores piece. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Let's move it. And then let's move this guy. This is a Sleestak. Let's move him. All right. We just have books up, except for up here. Let's move this stuff down. We'll leave that Sergeant Rock right there and that Transformer. They won't get in the way. But these guys were stacked up on top of this stack of books right here. So we brought them down. This is some sort of old 1960s Marx kind of toy with this kid hiding cake behind his back. What's it called? It's called a Marx Blamits. Blamits. He's got a name. I don't know what his name is. And this is Donald Duck. Okay. In it, like a winter outfit, that Donald Duck. He's ready for. I should probably put him in with the Christmas decorations. I think that's a good idea. I'm always happy to find certain things around this place that I can put places so it's not out, right? So now I could put that in with the Christmas decorations, and I'll never have to see it until next year when Christmas comes, or this year when Christmas comes. First book that we're looking at. We're already 3 minutes in. Kurt Vonnegut, a novel, Slapstick. A little bit of water damage. So this is my, I guess, original or first, I think, copy of this book. It says hi ho in his eyes. This is, I mean, I've got a lot of favorite Kurt Vonnegut books. This is really one of my favorites. I've read it about 3 or 4 times, probably, maybe 5. Look at that, Lonesome No More. So if you haven't read Kurt Vonnegut, I think this is an okay place to start. So Kurt Vonnegut is a science fiction writer that weaves reality and comedy into the science fiction. This particular book, wow, let's look at the, so we want to look at the foreword. So look at all these great books he wrote. So let me look through real quick. I've read every one of. I haven't read. This is a short story. I can't. I don't know if I've read Between Time and Timbuktu or this is. Anyway, I've read all of these. All of these. So I started with Breakfast of Champions when I was in about 7th grade. Then I read Slaughterhouse 5 and didn't completely understand it until later. Then I read Cat's Cradle and really liked it. Sirens of Titan, is that on here? Sirens of Titan. So anyway, these are all great books. This book is about siblings. This book is about a brother and a sister that are twins. And very often in the prologue of Vonnegut's books, he begins the book by relating what's going to happen, or just by prefacing the entire book to a personal story from his life. So this story in the prologue is about his sister and how she was most beautiful in the water. I remember that. He talks about that. So he's talking about Laurel and Hardy here at the beginning. Boy, you could pause this if you wanted to. It's all so good, in my opinion. So this book, I really thought that he talked more about his sister in here. Maybe it comes towards the end. But this book is about it's a science fiction story. So it's a science fiction. Jeez, I'm like losing it because I want to read what he says here about his sister. I know it's in here somewhere. Anyway, he talks about how close he is with his sister in here and tells some other stories, prefacing the book. The book is a science fiction story about this rich couple of elites that have a pair of twins. I can't remember how the twins come upon them, if they're just natural birth. Anyway, the twins that they have are, for lack of a better word, genetic mutants. They look like cave people, but they have super high intellect and, in a way, superpowers. It's a fantastic book. There's a terrible movie that they made out of this book that I do not recommend. So stay away from the movie, but watch the book or read the book. Stay away from the movie, but read this book. Okay. First one, we're done. Boy, what is that, 6 minutes? 7 minutes. Okay. A little longer today. I don't know what's going to happen here with this. This is Studs Terkel Working. So I read some of this when I first got it, and I got it at like a thrift store. If I remember correctly, boy, look at that print. So I read some of this, if I remember correctly. This is all personal accounts and interviews by Studs Terkel of different people talking about their job. Look, people talk about what they do all day and how they feel about what they do. So, and then if I remember right, it's in here. How did I used to read this? I thought that, there it is. Okay. So, in here, in the contents, is where you can look through and you can see the jobs that people do, and then you can read the interviews with them by Studs Terkel, and they're good. This is a good book. Studs Terkel Working. This next book, I like that illustration on the cover. This is Spanish for Conversation, the second edition. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? What's it say up here? Carol Young. I don't know where I got this. I really don't. I can't remember. I might have found it on the street or something. Possible. What's this say? Renee Deutsch. 7456 Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood, 46, California. There's no zip code. I think this is old. That's old, isn't it? It's an old address. This is from 1959. I like how she so a lot of things I like about this. I like the accent on her name that she uses, which is a big line over both E's. And then I like how she abbreviates Hollywood Boulevard and Hollywood. I don't understand why it says Hollywood 46. Maybe that was a designation for the Postal Service to, I don't know why. That's weird. Anyway, you could easily, if you're a weirdo like me, whenever this sort of thing pops up, like I'll keep this book out now and I'll look up this address and see what's there. Oh, what was that? This might be where I got this. What does this say? It's a ticket for MoMA. It is San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, Tuesday, May 4th. 2010. So almost exactly 15 years ago. This is mine. So almost exactly 15 years ago, I went to the SF MoMA, and this would have been with friends. With this, I went. This is, see, look, Free Tuesday. So this was with the VA. This was with like friends of mine from the VA. Now I wonder if I found this book that day. It's really possible that I found this book on the street or somewhere that exact day of that MoMA receipt or whatever ticket. So I remember this day now that I think of it. All right, so this day I created a bunch of art. I still have the art that I created. We were there all day as a San Francisco Veterans Art Guild group, and we were allowed to bring all of our materials and sit here and inside of here and move from piece to piece and do whatever we want as far as like our own interpretations of things or create whatever art we wanted. And I remember that day there was this giant porcelain figure, like a statue. It was huge, man. It was big. And it was like white, like ivory white with gold filigree and accents. And it was Michael Jackson and his monkey Bubbles, and it was life-sized. You could probably look that up. It's probably, there's photos of it probably, obviously. You probably just look what the description would probably show you pictures. All right, so this book was a gift from my mother, when we first moved to Pacific Grove, California, and the Monterey Peninsula. Now, I had already grown up there in the past because we already owned a house there, but we didn't live there full time. But then my mother bought a new house there, and we moved there from the mountains, from Lake Tahoe area to Monterey. And I was between 7th and 8th grade. And when we first moved there, I think we went to dinner at Rappa's. We used to always have dinner at the end of the wharf at this restaurant called Rappa's. Rappa's was a classic place, Rappas. Anyway, this is a beautiful old wharf in the old days. It was amazing when I was a kid. There used to be an organ grinder there every day. There was like this old Italian guy with a monkey and an organ and the whole thing, and you would give him a penny or a nickel. That was the first time I got to feel and look up close at a monkey's hand. So this is about ghost stories about the Monterey Fisherman's Wharf, where I would then hang out a bunch in junior high school and high school. But my mother bought this at the bookstore there at Fisherman's Wharf at the Three Rings Books that I also became a regular at. And the day that she bought it, I guess the author, it's signed by this author, Vincent DiGirolamo. And I read this. Like probably, that night, or I read this like right when I got this book, and I'd like to read it again. So I haven't read this since the summer between 7th and 8th grade. And look, here is look at that. It's a bookmark, an advertisement for Bookworks. I wonder if she bought me this at Bookworks and not at Three Rings Books. I bet that she did. So I was wrong. She didn't get this from me at Three Rings Books. She got it at the Bookworks, which was a really cool old bookstore, or it's old now because I think it's gone, on Lighthouse Avenue in Pacific Grove, which was a couple blocks from my house. It's a little thing of Walt Whitman right there. Okay. I don't think this is true. I think that she got this at the wharf at Three Rings Books, and I think that this is a newer bookmark. This is not a bookmark from like 1978. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it is. Let's move the stack. I'm going to move over to this side because this stack is really tall, and let's just get through this one because I don't know about this. I haven't read any of it except for a little bit probably when I first got it. So this was a gift to me from the best VA psychologist that I ever saw in my 15 years of treatment at the Veterans Administration Association, at the VA medical place. This was the best doctor I saw. He gave me this book. He told me to read it. I haven't read it yet. It's about conquering depression, I think. The Feeling Good Handbook. overcome depression, conquer anxiety, enjoy greater intimacy. That's what it says. Looks like a nice enough guy. Stephen Ambrose. Citizen soldiers. The U.S. Army from the Normandy beaches to the Bulge to the surrender of Germany. Sorry about that. I got to get back in character. I haven't read this yet. I picked it up for obvious reasons. I mean, look at it. It looks great. It looks like it's really good, right? Wow. That looks great. I need to put this on the shelf. Okay, this looks good. I haven't read this yet. In this riveting account, historian Stephen Ambrose continues where he left off in the #1 bestseller D-Day. Ambrose again follows the individual characters of this noble, brutal, and tragic war, from the high command down to the ordinary soldier, drawing on hundreds of interviews to recreate the war experience. This looks great. I can't wait. I need to read this. Let's see up here. This is a book that I need to put with a couple other ones that is some sort of like, this was like a 3 or a 4 book series that my mom gave me a long time ago. These are like intrigue or mystery or espionage books. This one is called John Buchan, The 39 Steps. I saw this movie a long time ago. I don't remember much about it. But here's the book. It's quite thin. I should read it. Okay. This was a $1 book. It's called Karma, the Mechanism, Create Your Own Fate by Herman Kuhn. New Age Eastern Philosophy. There's Herman, born in 1950 in Germany. I took some courses in college at the beginning, at the beginning when I first started, it was actually called Oriental Philosophy. Yeah. So I did some reading up on this stuff for a while. This was before I joined the Army. I was in junior college for, I don't know, a couple semesters. I took some classes on this stuff. Karma and the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads. You guys are familiar. Vladimir Nabokov, Lolita. Boy, what a great cover, huh? I haven't read this. I saw the movie with James Mason, I think. I liked it. I know what it's about. It's interesting. I need to read it because this is a bit of a classic, isn't it? I believe I found this somewhere, like at a free place, I didn't pay for this. This was like at a stack. You know how you'd find like stacks of, what's that? Stacks of free books or something, or on the street in San Francisco. So I lived in San Francisco for 15 years. And so I picked a lot of stuff up off the streets. What is that? It might be off the streets. It might be a big black booger. All right. Didn't we just see Walt Whitman? Is that who this is? Who wrote Walden? Henry David Thoreau. What am I freaking thinking of? Derp. All right, so here's Thoreau's Walden. This is the writer's edition with commentary. I read this when I was in the Army. I need to reread it. I need to reread it all. There's a lot of things that I already read, so a large portion, probably half of my books I haven't read, or maybe even 2/3 of the books I own I haven't read. But there's a lot that I read, but I read them 25 or 30 years ago, and I didn't fully understand them, and I want to give them another chance. So that might be one of them. This will be the last book we're going to look at. We're coming up on 20 minutes. That's when I like to cut these videos off. This is Growing in Grace. This is another book from Bob George. When giving it all you've got still, when giving it all you've got still isn't enough. Okay, I don't know if I like that. It took me a second to get through the marketing design on that statement. I don't remember even reading that before. When giving it all you've got still isn't enough. Growing in Grace. Maybe I'm just tired. Anyway, I read this book a long time ago. Read this book at work during intervals of taking breaks. I like this guy's writing, and I like this book, Growing in Grace by Bob George. Hope you like this video. We still have these books behind. This is the stack we went through. We got those back there, and then we got these back here. So we have so many more books to go through. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.